What's up, guys? I could speak again. Finally, a little better. Still congested and got all the nasty snot stuff still in my face. So I'm gonna sound weird for a while until all that comes out. But I'm gonna go and do a better, more in-depth version of what I did the other day. In Fortnite, obviously, not the Starfield episode. But the other day, I kind of tried to explain how to use traps and how to say build a base off of what I've been using. So I'm gonna go back over that more in depth, and I'm gonna be using my base setup. I'm gonna be using a different one, not this one. But I'm basically just swapping two characters out, so it's not a huge change. It's not something you guys necessarily need to worry about. If you are using a setup like this, is what I mean. So obviously, if you guys stuck around for a while, you guys know my my constructor loadouts. One of them being power base Kyle or either base Kyle for lofty architecture in base Kyle and power mod in power base Kyle. And you know that for power base, his ability is 11% every 10 seconds of max health, and then for base Kyle, it's just increased building health. And they're both pretty good. Another alternative you could use, I don't think I mentioned, is you could use the Ice King. Enemies standing on base or structures affected by base are snared by 15%, and enemies that damage the structure affected by base are frozen for 4 seconds. Each enemy can be frozen once every 15 seconds. That is a fact. They did nerf it. They did nerf the ability. That's why it's 15 seconds. I think it used to be shorter. I don't remember how I don't remember uh, how long it used to last before. I think maybe it was like 10 seconds or 8 seconds, somewhere around that area. But you could use Ice King and then have these two characters in there as well, and that'll work pretty good as well. You could have Ice King appear as your main, and then just add power base to one of these two slots. I usually recommend either dropping one or two. I have base, not base Kyle. I was gonna say, I have a Breakbeat Wildcat. Is a hero that's selected right now. I have Breakbeat Wildcat for the extra damage, and then faster explosions because obviously you want more launcher damage. And if you can get the elims from your traps, then you can get Rock and Rift, which can give you more damage. So this is kind of like you want to rely a little bit more on a launcher when you're using this constructor setup, specifically this one I have, since it's not like a varying one that I change very much, other than the two heroes, base Kyle and power base. Um, One of the things I do recommend, if you have a friend who has base Kyle, you can have him main it. It doesn't necessarily matter what level it is. You just have to be able to put the base down, which I think is past the first star. I don't quite remember. It used to be a thing where you had to level up your characters to unlock their abilities, and I have a feeling it's kind of like that now, but I don't think for constructors. I'm not too sure because I have most of my characters are all leveled up, and I'm not gonna run them, level one. So, um, yeah. But basically, if you have base, you're gonna run either one of these characters, power base or base Kyle. Say, as I was talking about earlier, you run power base, your teammate runs base, and if you have another teammate, you can have that teammate run Ice King, or instead of like just power base and base, you could have your friend, um, or someone you're playing with isn't not your friend, but someone you're playing with, one run Ice King and the other one run power base, or one run base and Ice King. It's just a varying thing, but it does help a lot. Um, to have more than one constructor, you can do missions by yourself. Um, they're kind of hard. I mean, they're relatively hard. You see, in the past, I ran 160s and did pretty well by myself. But see, like this mission's actually gonna be it's a 160 retrieve data. That one's actually kind of difficult by yourself. You can run power base, and power base will help with the exploding death bombs. But the wall weakening is gonna be something that you kind of want base Kyle for, since if your walls are more susceptible to damage, you want those walls to have more health, and you also want the walls to be able to regen. So you want both characters, which is why, in my opinion, you'd run both characters in this one. But you can run it by yourself. I'm probably gonna show that in a little bit. You guys know that if I really wanted to, I could run these myself. Rather, I don't know why I said myself. Um, I don't know if you've noticed either, but these deliver the bomb missions do not have modifiers. They're not like storm zones, like the retrieve the data under it, which is kind of weird. Um, but that's actually really cool. It's actually really cool that they're not. I don't know if that is a limited time thing that they're deciding to do right now, or they found a bug and they're just not having not having those modifiers in that mission for a certain reason. So I'm not too sure about that, but um, it actually makes the missions a lot easier. Obviously, like you can run this one back to back, and the other day, me and a friend actually did it pretty easily ourselves. So it wasn't something just too crazy to worry about. Let me check up on my maths. Okay, yeah, we're good on maths. We're good on maths. Okay. Power base. Let's check my backpack because I want to make sure that I have good weapons in my. I don't need that much. I'm gonna craft 16 more. And that's just because there's one in every corner, so that's 4, but I have 5. And it's around 16 to place traps in like a 3x3 range, which makes it a 4x4, which is 4, 8, 12, 16. Okay, I'm gonna need more of those anti-airs. I kind of want to craft before, just to be prepared. The enemies are fire enemies. Okay, fire enemies. I'm gonna use some of these. Now, I did get news, or not necessarily news. I knew of this, but didn't necessarily want to implement it. For my Sub-Zero Zenith build, you could use the Ice Queen, and the Ice Queen does more damage to enemies that are frozen or freeze, or that water element freeze enemies, or you know what I mean, the the enemies that are blue, water enemies rather. Right, you do more damage to those as well with that hero. I was gonna put her here, which is why I have her here, but I have affliction duration, as you guys know, in hopes of freezing enemies more than once during their time that they're frozen already. Since when the arrow hits them, they can freeze on impact, or they could freeze because of the affliction. So if they can, get frozen twice because of the affliction, then I want more affliction time. So now this is gonna be basically one example of how I do it. Obviously, you can do it in whichever way you want. I do it this way, and the way I'm gonna show you, mainly because I've just been doing it for a while. So I don't know. I think it's cool. I like doing it. that sort of thing. There might be better ways. Obviously, I'm not saying that this is the best. I'm not saying this is the best way, but I am saying that I do it. If you want to do it, you can do it. Okay, so one thing we gotta find out is where the freaking thing is. You can look up in the sky and find it pretty quickly. Some people ask me how do I find it so fast. Like, not when I'm in pubs, but when I'm playing with others, they're like, "Dude, how'd you find that thing so fast?" And I'm like, "Well, if you look up, buddy, you can see it floating in the sky." And they're like, "Oh yeah, you're right. It's floating in the sky." Okay, anyone there? Okay, so obviously when I was in my home base, I didn't really get to tell you guys how to build this. I kind of just built it and was like, here you go. But oh, put a. It's not letting me edit this floor. Oh, my B is broken. That's weird. When I play on easy, dude. I wish it wasn't G, but I don't really play on I don't really play on keyboard for it to be any other thing. Switch back to controller. Alright, not broken. It's a weird bug that goes on with your B button on the controller. So what you want to do, obviously I built a square. It's a 3x3. You want walls on every corner. Enemy's gonna freaking try to kill me. And they're coming over here. It's 3x3 in every corner or every third. You're gonna want a corner. These guys suck. And their little freaking shielder husk is annoying as well. That's the most annoying part, is the little floaty worm thing in the freaking. Okay, it's a 3x3. Every corner or every three, you want two walls. And these two walls, you're gonna place your wall darts. This will make it so no matter which ramp they go towards, they'll get hit by a wall dart, right? And they'll get hit more than once since I'm putting two on each side, so they'll get hit by two of them if they get the chance. Another thing you could do, which I haven't, I think I shown in a video a while ago when I was doing the guns, you could have it open like this, and the wall darts will shoot through, or you could have it open like this, and I think the wall darts will still shoot through like that. If you have it open the way it should previously, you cannot have a trap up here and it won't go through. The trap won't do damage through it. I don't think, right? I'm not saying I don't think, but I don't think it will. I don't think it'll do damage through that window. The little double window. I need two of these. Another thing I do is I put, so every two, you know what I mean? 1, 2, 1, 2. You're gonna want a floor launcher. And I'll explain that in a minute as well. The floor launchers are basically there to prevent them from getting to your center walls, but your center walls will also have traps on them. You're gonna put wall darts on these traps because the wall darts can shoot through this angled ceiling, angle cone, whichever you like to call it. And I'm also gonna put ceiling zappers because, as I mentioned previously, ceiling zappers also can do damage through. Oh, I wanted to level it up before I did that, but it's okay. I'm gonna do this for now. Alright, ceiling zappers do damage through these angled ramps, and then these ones will do damage to any enemy that is near it. The enemy can be right here, obviously it'll get hit. Enemy will be right here, it'll get hit. And I believe if the enemy's right here as well, it'll get hit. So it's, yeah, see, the enemy got hit. Almost died actually, that one shot. Okay, yep, freaking guy right there. Now they're all coming because they heard me shoot stuff. Alright, I'm gonna go down to... Oh, no more affliction, guys, so I might not go down. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I probably want to destroy this tree. It's a bit like laggy. I'm not too sure why, but it's pretty laggy. I want to put this back here maybe, since there might not be a lot of enemies and it covers most of the base. I'm gonna put these, and what I do recommend you do is when you're building a base that you know the enemies have not ceiling death bombs. They have death bombs. Whether it be like healing death burst, the healing one, or it be, you know, these ones that we have, they drop a bomb. You don't want your ceilings to be high so that they don't get affected by the bomb dropping when they die. Okay. See, and as you seen, I have one left, so I knew it was exactly the number I needed. All right. Another thing I do. Keep in mind, I had learned this from a tutorial way back when, and just decided to use it forever, since I thought it was really good. Previously, I didn't usually build it that way. I used to build it kind of like an Atlas mission, with just you know, just 4 corners boxed so enemies couldn't, you know, go through. And then I had you know, 2 centerpieces, or 2 directions, I guess, that the enemies could come from, essentially. So what I would do is, if the enemies were coming from the west, I would, you know, fill this corner right here, you know, with a stair, and then block this off and block that area off, and then fill this area with a stair and block it off, and then block this area off, unless they were coming from, let's say, the north. But if they were coming from the east and it was only east and west spawns, like it kind of is now, I would block the north and south directions off and leave only the east and west open, just like this, basically, except with walls right here and right here. And I would let them come for this, you know, this floor only, which, now that I remember, I need for my traps. And then it's... Oh, crap. Another thing I need is, not anti-airs. Hold on, I'm gonna put those in here. I'll explain why I put them in here a little bit. So the anti-airs I have on the inside and the outside, and I have them for the reason being, enemies like to throw propane tanks, and they're super annoying. But the good news is anti-air traps can shoot propane tanks. The bad news is anti-air traps also shoot the bones the pitchers throw. They shoot those too. That's super annoying that they do that. But that's fine. They can have that. They could, as long as you're not, you know, line of sight with, say, you know, one of the pitchers, then you're fine. You won't get destroyed. Not destroyed. Your trap's durability won't get, you know, damaged too much, you can say. I'm going to use ice traps, even though I kind of really want to use the tar pits. But we're going to go with whatever element the enemy is weak to. This one being fire. We're going to use fire. Obviously, we're going to use fire. We're going to use fire. No, we're going to use water or ice against these fire enemies. I'm also going to level up some of these walls, because when they explode, they also damage. It's enough reach when they explode for them to damage. It's not ceiling, wall tiles. I guess you can say, like, if it blows up right here, obviously she's damaging this tile. But if there was a wall right here and above it, it would damage this wall and the wall above it. Try to kill these enemies so I don't have to worry too much about my too much about my traptor ability going down. And I'm doing the same thing. I know previously I advised not to do what I just did for the these anti-airs, but it's okay, right? It's okay. So if you're not aware, I previously was like, don't put an anti-air or a trap above another trap because it might cause your game to lag and all that good stuff. And then I just broke my own rule, but that's cool. Another thing we're gonna do is I like to wait until the balloon drops for itself instead of me dropping it. And obviously the trade-off is you'll wait longer for it to drop, but the mission itself will take less time. Now, if you're really worried about your badges and all that stuff, doesn't really affect what badge you get too much. Obviously, it's gonna affect it, but if you're playing solo and you just want the easiest mission possible to pass it, then I suggest waiting. So I'm gonna wait until the balloon drops. And I'm gonna throw my base right here and then put traps in the corner in the corners. Oh yeah, another thing I do, I didn't even mention it while I was doing it, but I'm pretty sure you guys caught on. I put wall spikes on the edges of my base and also the center. I'm gonna do the center as well, and I do that because my spikes are increased building health. So on top of that 28% I'm getting from my support, I want more just in case Smasher runs by. I don't want him to run directly through my thing immediately. I want him to at least hit it once and then get stopped and not just run through it. So yeah, but we're gonna wait for this balloon to drop. Yeah, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Alright, we're back. The balloon just landed. I did add stuff before the balloon landed, but I'll show you guys in a minute what I mean. I added stuff. Alright, so if you look up, you can see all this mess and the tiles I added around it. It's basically just in hopes of flinger protection, since flingers get pretty annoying. If you got a Xenon bow, crowd control is pretty easy. You just run up and kill some guys. It ain't too big of a deal unless they're smashers, which you would hear them spawn since they like to scream. They're one of the enemies that like to scream when they spawn, which is really good. A really good thing they did was make them so they yell when they spawn in. Only ones that don't yell and have high bars like that one are the are the laser guys, the I-beam, the blasters. Those guys do that. And plus you can hear them you can hear that noise they make when they, watch, look at them. Right, you hear them? You can hear them in the corner, and it's easy to find out where to shoot because they're big characters anyway, but you shoot below the health bar. And they're blowing stuff up. And obviously, oh, one of the walls is gone, okay. Oh, they have wall weakening, forgot. Anything hit is gonna be pretty susceptible to damage. Which is why I sprung for the healer one. Let's get these guys out of here. Don't throw anything. You hear that? Oh no. Okay, they're throwing stuff or they're dropping them themselves, which is probably the likely case, is they're dropping it. And on top of wall weakening, they're exploding, so the walls are going to be taking heavy damage, especially because of the explosions. Yeah, you can't do too much when they throw. Oh, there's a guy right there. You hear him? See? All the yellow guys right there. It's kind of weird to see him when they're. You'll get off of me, bro. He's healing. He's a healer on. Oh, not anymore. Alright, these guys are weird. You guys are being weirdos. Running up on a girl. Running up on me, I'm not a girl. Alright. Health back. What are these at? These are doing fine. Yeah, they're doing fine. I don't have any traps here, yo. Did I not put them? I might not have put them. Oh, we're getting bombed. We're getting bombed. I don't want to get bombed. Stop doing that. Oh, they broke one of my... Yep. I might have broken a few. Yeah, they did. They broke 3 of them. These guys are crazy. Now, I could send a discharger ball over there at them. But, you gotta make it difficult. You can't just rely on that thing 24/7. You know, they're really cool and they work really well, but sometimes you can't. And don't worry about my mats. I got a mat grinder I can use later. Okay, where are we getting bombed from this time? Right there. That's a taker. Now you're gonna want to use that for the taker though. He's not a fire cowboy. Interesting. That's bad. I need to go up here and get some help. But I didn't want to try and enter the wall. Okay, we're still gonna be bombed. Who's way over there that I'm shooting? Oh. Some random enemy. What are these guys? Doofuses. There's the epic. I'm dead. Epic is gonna be nuts. Watch. It's gonna be Ricochet Vortex. I gotta open this up for him. I don't want to fight him even at all. I'm dead. Ooh. There's not too many ways to fight these guys. One of them is straight up. Oh, they're mission and dirty. One of them is straight up spam campfires or spam healing paths. And as you've seen, my ping shot up to like 600, and I blame that on the traps, how I set them up. Very much so. But yeah, that's how you do. Well, that's how you do that mission. I mean, what a lot of it does have to do with your survivors, your weapons. A little bit annoying what you're doing. Other than that, it's pretty easy. I'm gonna go to a home base this time and show you guys a little more of what I mean or what I meant in the last video. It's basically gonna be it's basically gonna be like somewhat the same I did in the last one with the random builds in home base, showing you how to do what. but I'll actually be placing traps and kind of explaining why the traps are where they're at and that sort of thing. So I'll catch you guys in a minute. I'm gonna go load into that. All right, I loaded into my twine. I don't know if you guys recall. I did say I had it finished, and the only thing I used it for was for helping people that needed those mist monster elims in the 140 zone. Since when enemies spawn in this zone, since it's a completed twine storm shield, the enemies are 140, or it's considered a 140 zone. But once I start up my wargame sim, let's say the mist pod ones, they spawn at like the mist monsters, not mist monsters, mini boss eliminations. Right when I spawn the mist pods, or when I start the mist pod mission, the enemies that come out of the mist pods will be like level 30 to level 50, right? And they'll still count for 140 eliminations, since this is a 140 zone. Now I think that is due to me not doing my endurance, since as you do the endurance, the enemies will get harder and harder, and I am not sure if that's because of me not doing my endurance, but I have a feeling it is. So yeah, that's a little explanation on that. We're gonna go over here just to show you guys. So obviously one method I used and what it's trying to explain earlier. So you have this set up like this. This is your, this is your objective you want to protect. This is going to be a single atlas mission. So the single atlas mission, if they're coming from the east and the west, I would box this up, level it up, box this up, level it up. But in an atlas mission, these cannot be placed. Right? You guys know that. They can't be placed. If they're coming from one direction, or two directions, as I said, then I will box it up just like this. This will be open, so there'll be ramps. Since that's all you can place in an atlas mission, you can only place ramps. In the center, where the atlas is, the atlas takes up this space. You can't even place anything right here, but you can place that up there. So it's like this. And then we'll be going here as well. There's going to be a wall here. And you can't put walls here, unfortunately. But as you can tell, this is open. And so is the other side. Since in this scenario we're playing, they're coming from the east and the west. So this will be open like this. I'll have them come through here. There is going to be another floor launcher. I'll craft another 4. I'll craft fucking 12. Screw it. This will all be upgraded. I'm not going to upgrade it because even though I know I can get it back, it's kind of weird to waste time upgrading it. So there'll be a floor piece here. And on this side, what I usually put, I want to craft 2, and then I'll craft, and yeah, that's it. I also need to craft 2 of these, and 8 of these. Okay, so now that I have those crafted, sorry I paused for a little bit there. I was hearing a noise and distracted me. Okay, so wall launcher here. There will also be a ceiling piece up there, and we'll get to that in a minute. But for now, once you have this like this, you're going to want to put, wrong thing. You want to put a sound wall, and then I usually put one of these. Right, the enemy's gonna go to here, smack it, get hit by that, get hit by that. They're not gonna smack it no more. Right, that's essentially that's your goal, basically. Right, so once you're inside, obviously you can't put a wall right here, so you're not gonna put anything on the inside. But what I do put, again, we're gonna go with our ceiling zappers. Those do high damage to single targets, and what you really don't want. Obviously, you don't want smashers to come in and wreck your single wall or your single ramp. Rather, since once this is upgraded, it's only going to have Once it's upgraded, if it upgrades faster, that'll be cool. Uh, let's do what we did to this side real quick. So, if I could place a trap down, we did this. I'm looking for a wall this time. Did that. We did that. Right, they're not touching that wall. But once it's upgraded, it's gonna have a total of 6k health. Right? And you're like, wow, that's not a lot of health. Why are you so trusting in this method, even though it's not a lot of health? Well, it is not a lot of health. It's not. But the enemies are only gonna come from those two directions, and if you have a base, I can't put it down right now. If you have a base or more than one base, mine specifically will obviously heal the structures, so as they attack it, they're gonna get sent back, and whatever traps you have here, you can put whatever traps you want. Really, it varies for me on what type of enemy. So if we're fighting, fire enemies, I'm gonna try to put water traps since that'll help with the damage against them. I'll also put, traps like this up here. Of course, it'll surround the entire thing again, just like the retrieve data mission, basically. So the traps will all surround it like that. You need another set of 16 traps. Down here, you'll need the same amount if you want to put it all around. But if it's on a cliff like this, and obviously you don't, it's just mindful where you're at too. What zone you're in, what enemy type there is, and how much room you got to build what objective. If it's a crappy objective, obviously you just leave. It doesn't matter, but this is essentially what you want. All these will be all leveled up. You can cap the roofs. Put a wall floor on all of them. Level them up. And you could do this. This is one option for the single atlas. You could, if there's another atlas like not too far, like it's right here, and it's not floating, but it's just in the air. You could do the same thing, but an easier method if you have an atlas really close like this is to put them together, and how is it? You put them together, right? And you just block them off from each other, so no enemy can get in from this side. No enemy can get in from that side of that, atlas. If there was an atlas there, if there was an atlas there, it would look like this. It would look more like this. There was an atlas there. You can put them together, box this out, and box the sides, and have enemies come in from this side. Let's say the north or the south, but it depends on what zone and how they spin. But usually, you can stick to whatever side you've done, and you'll be fine. Now, I want to break this real quick. Now then I'll get to explaining the way I use the way I build the man. What am I keep messing it up. The evacuate and repair the shelter type missions is how I'll try to explain how I do those. So for those missions, your objective is going to be pretty big, like fairly big, right? Fairly wide is usually the thing. It's about, I think it's like a 4x4. No, it's not a 3x3, is it? No way. Okay, it's probably about this big. Usually what I do is, let's say the enemy's coming from the east, the north, the west, the south, every direction, right? You build up like this. You can cover the whole thing, the top. You're going to want to put walls as well. Let's say in this scenario, they're coming from every direction, but they can only come up from the east and west, just like how it is right now. Since they come, well, they could come from the north as well. So we're going to play it like essentially these objectives right here, and they're coming from every direction. if they're coming from west, obviously they can't come from the west. Really, there's not a whole lot they can spawn. They can spawn over there, I guess, like on that. But say in this scenario, it's east and west, right? Since they could spawn down over there, and they could come up and all that stuff. So we could still build the same way. We could add a staircase, actually, in this case. And for this, kind of just build it like that. You can put walls on either side. Doesn't really matter, but you are gonna want is wall launchers, since that's kind of the basis of it. You're gonna want wall launchers on top, not on top, on either side of the wall. You want on this wall. You could have another wall launcher if you like, or you could have a sun wall. I usually put sun walls, since when enemies get up here, you don't really want them attacking too much. You kind of just want them dancing there and let them get taken by the drop trap. But you know, you'll put wall launchers there, so once they get up here, they'll get tossed off to the side. In this case, they'll probably get tossed either almost off or off the edge, which is perfect. On these walls, on these floors, on these floors, again, depending on element, you can put floor freezes, you can put tar pits. If it's a nature enemy, I suggest you put tar pits. Just because if a trap goes off and the tar pit is there, the tar pit will light on fire, and then the enemy will take a lot of damage, since nature enemies are weak to fire, right? So if you're fighting a fire enemy, you can line this whole thing up with ice traps. They'll freeze here, they'll get up, they'll freeze here, they'll get up, they'll freeze. And once they hit about here, maybe, probably in the first couple of steps, the drop trap will activate and clear the whole thing, or most of it, all the way down. It'll probably get to like about here, which is freaking perfect. It clears a whole lot of them. Yeah, it's a really easy thing to do. You don't want your base here. Your friend's base can be on any number of the squares. You know, it doesn't necessarily matter, but that is something you want to check up with your friends. Or what you could do is you could box this whole thing again, and then put their base right above your base. And the coverage should cover like most of it, or all of it. It depends. Okay, but that's how you would build up like that. For this one, now if they're coming at an angle like that, and they're coming up from down there, obviously what you could do is you could box this off. Don't let them come up here. And you could just straight up build a ramp like this and say screw it with the rest of the design, and put two up here, one right here. Drop these there. And you could put wall launchers along these walls, or you could put other things. But if they're gonna get hit by a ceiling drop trap from here, they're gonna go all the way down. They're gonna have to restart the whole thing anyway. Or you could be a dick, which is probably the funniest thing to do ever in this game to the zombies. Is you could just put traps like this, put two wall launchers right there, make them get tossed back. The craziest thing you could do for this one is you could just do this, right? Have them get launched into a box. They get launched back. They get launched into a box, and you just have them get jumped by whatever traps you have in here, which is pretty freaking crazy. They won't hit it unless they're a smasher, I believe. Smashers might be able to smack that. I'm not sure. Or you could be worse, and you could say, screw it, I'm gonna launch them back the other direction. I can launch them back the other direction, put a box here, and then they get launched back up in there, which is really funny. Then you can put traps in here, you can put traps up there, and it's a whole different like intricate series. You could put traps up here like this, and have these be, let's say, ceiling electric fields right here. You could have ceiling electric fields right there, or drop traps, or you put drop traps right there on those two on those two as well. So once enemies get up here, they'll get hit by drop traps from up there. And if they get too close, they'll get launched back and forth up here, and then just get railed by whatever traps are right here. And you could be worse. You could put wall launchers right here and here, and then push them back into this, which will then send them back up. So you're playing a game of catch with them at this point. And I think so long as they're being thrown, they won't despawn, which is the good part. But that was a previous problem. You could actually build your defense for or at least for minus B, but for your amplifier like that, if you don't have D there, then you could build it like that, and that'll be like a super petty way to build that one, but it'll work. So that's how you would build that one if it were here, right? If it weren't here, then you just build it like this. Essentially, you build it like this. You try to get the enemies to walk in here. The enemies will walk up this too. Don't think they won't. They will. The only ones that won't are I think smashers and the blasters. They don't think they'll try and run up that, but the other enemies will, which is kind of cool. If you want to siphon them, you know what I mean. The bigger enemies won't go through that sort of build, but the smaller enemies will, which is a good thing. But yeah, that was my a little more in-depth version. If you guys want more sort of build setups for, say, your home base or anything like that, I'll be happy to either record one, or you can just request me to go do that, and I'll go do it for you since I'm bored as hell on this game. I'm waiting for the new Venture season to come out, so that's why this video isn't Ventures. This video is just me further explaining my setups. I do want to note something I didn't even think of. I do want to note that you can build your not evac. You can build your repair the shelter the same as I built the previous one. It applies for both. Don't think it doesn't. It does. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. Stick around. Starfield Ventures is coming up. Ventures coming up on the 9th. That's when it ends. If you don't know, now you know. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.